Business.
Good evening, everyone.
Welcome. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. How everybody feeling today? We're gonna give people some time to get on in here.
Yes. I just wanted to verify that they can see us.
We got a great letter for y'all today. There should be some good conversation. Interesting topic today.
Very interesting. And I actually can't wait to even have a discussion. So hopefully we get some good engagement. We get some people to chat with us to add to the conversation because this is one of those letters where I'm definitely curious about what others are thinking. So just not, we'll give our opinion, but I am definitely curious about what our community has to say about today's letter. So definitely come on in.
Yes.
Say hello to us when you come into the room.
How you
Come
guys feeling?
on
Guys
in the
feeling today?
room. Come on in the room.
I'm about
My
to
grandma
read
used to sing that song.
it.
Every time I say come in the room, it just reminds me of my grandma that used to always sing that.
Your grandma used to say come in the room.
Yeah, it's like an old Pentecostal hymnal.
What's up, Tease? I see Tease on here with us today. Tease been killing the hi Katrina. Hi
Yes, hi Katrina.
Katrina.
Thanks for joining us. Katrina has an amazing event that is happening at the closer to the end of the year in October that I will be a guest panelist on. So we may have to bring Miss Katrina on an episode so she can tell us a little bit about the event prior to. So we may have to set that up. But thank you for joining us this evening.
Okay. Thank you for tuning in, Miss Katrina. I've been seeing Martise been posting a lot of content this week. Somebody getting in their content bag. Been seeing
In
them
the
posting the
content
content.
arena, trying to beef up his content. Definitely. It's definitely the time for that. Oh, she said yes. We're gonna have to put that together, and have a subject that we can put around your event as well, so we can have a moment to talk about that. These episodes go so quickly all the time. Like we try to keep it close to an hour, but by the time we start conversing, then I mean it's almost time to wrap it up because it moves so quickly.
Yeah, right.
Don't realize how quickly it is. If we didn't have anything to do, the time seemed like it would be going so slow. And then once we get into a good conversation, it's like, really, it's already an hour. And that's really the reason why we even started this episode. Because I was talking to someone earlier this week, and he was just saying to me, "Hey, Dr. Lydia, thanks for joining us. Good
Hey,
evening."
Dr. Lydia.
He was saying to me, he was like, when you and your son speak, then it's always yes, time definitely flies. It's like when you and your son speak, it's always like a great conversation because you guys just piggyback off of each other. And I'm like, well, that's the reason why we even said we were going to do it, because we can literally sit and just chat about all of these things. Hey, Anthony, thanks for joining us. Good evening. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. How you doing, Anthony? How everybody feeling on this Friday? Yeah, we
I'm
can
like,
talk
we can
for like
definitely
three
just chat.
hours.
Yeah, for like 3 hours.
We can get
I'm
on.
like,
We can just get on the stream and just put it in the kitchen and be in there until it's time to go to bed.
yes, I was like, I mean, doing an hour is like a piece of cake. We pretty much be cutting ourselves off half the time to kind of look at the clock and wrap it up. But I'm like, that's exactly why we decided to just get on and chat, which is well overdue because I was also telling them like most of our experiences and things that we're talking about, yes, we are still in business, we're still growing, we're both still CEOs, we have a bunch of things going on, together and individually. However, it's just I really believe that we have like 20 years of things that we never shared. Like we were always so private, and it's just like I don't know why. I just don't know why. It's just one of them things that um when you have this much experience and information, then it's kind of like I don't know why we just would never share. I'm like I can go back in my phone and probably share. Oh, hey, Rome's on the chat. I can probably share like all types of videos, like, and it's not like we don't have the videos, we don't have the receipts for everything because we're gonna talk about receipts today.
Rome on here.
Yeah, Roman's on here also.
Yeah.
We just always kind of did our own thing. I don't know why. It's just one of them things. So I'm happy that we're sharing. I'm happy that we are sharing our lives with others. I remember like 18 years ago, remember we started saying, calling, like we created like a
Making it
mini
with the
series,
McArthur.
yeah, making it with the McArthurs. We created like a mini series name for like our lives, but we never shared it with anybody. It was just like an in-house making it with the McArthurs was like the name of our series, the name of our episodes. We never shared it with anyone. We would just always call ourselves.
I feel like that's one of the ways I ended up in Houston, like just jokingly saying it out loud, and then like 10 years later, I actually was like, I live in Houston now. And we all used to say, like, yeah, making them, yeah, this need to be on HGTV or something.
No, we used to always say that forever ago. Like, it's so ironic. It's so crazy. But yes, thank you everybody for joining us today. Because we have such a good letter, I think I'm going to get started. It's not a lengthy letter, but I do want to have a good amount of conversation time with this letter. So I think we should jump right in. What's your thoughts? Are you
I'm
ready?
ready. Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. So again, welcome everyone to this week's episode of Finance Friday, the CEO Lounge. I am your host, Dr. Ebony McArthur, and I am here with my oldest son.
I'm on to everybody. EyeAm brand CEO.
Yes, and we have a great episode for you guys today. Let's start by saying, please like and subscribe and share our channel, especially if you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook. Comment and engage, because it kind of puts it out there to other people to know that we're here. But we're building up our subscribers, and my son said that they are increasing. So we would like, we always forget to tell people to do that because we're so busy talking. But please subscribe to us so that we can grow our platform. We would definitely appreciate it. So this week's letter says, Dear Dr. Ebb and EyeAm brand CEO, my timeline has been in a complete frenzy over the last few days, and honestly, my eyes are finally opening. First, we see the internet breaking with allegations that Dr. Cheyenne Bryant might not have the actual credentials she advocates to have. Then, multi-level marketing mogul Stormy Wellington faces a federal investigation, and now Greg Big Business and his wife are facing federal charges. It feels like the people the internet built up as wealth and life gurus are falling like dominoes. It has me thinking about who I'm actually giving my hard-earned money to. Dr. Ebb, as a broker, let's talk about the real estate industry. Is it crazy of me to want the realtor who is screaming at me to buy now to actually own real estate themselves? Are consumers really out here hiring agents to guide them through a $500,000 transaction when that agent has never signed a closing disclosure for their own home? And don't get me started on financial advisors. Am I supposed to be comfortable letting an advisor guide me on building generational wealth, stocks, and opening a Roth IRA, only to find out they have a 580 credit score and zero investments of their own? We have substituted popularity for paperwork and followers for actual facts. If credentials and credibility still matter in 2026, how do we as consumers actually vet these people? What specific questions do we need to ask before we sign on the dotted line? Or are we just supposed to trust anyone who has a blue check mark and a flashy luxury car? Signed, looking for the receipts. Let me take a sip.
I did see some people talking about Greg Big Business and his wife. Of course, Tony the Closer posting it again tomorrow. I've been saying that.
He's been saying it. He definitely has been
and
saying
Dr. Cheyenne Bryant been a big topic too. I've been seeing her on people talking about her on different podcasts as well. I seen Dr. Umar say he defended her. He said it don't matter if she don't have to show her doctorate because she basically is like helping the people. Like she still is like a leader of the people and stuff like that, I guess.
Well, I love Umar too, but he in question, so I don't know about taking his facts. So it all boils down to, Umar can do everything but the school. He has his own separate scam going on over there. So I don't know how much we should trust Umar and everything he say either. But I wanted to break it down a little bit because if you have not been in the news recently, I love that this letter touched on several different people who are in the news right now for possibly having not only their credentials, but their experience, under fire. And just like everything else in life, I do believe that it's a black, white, and a gray area. So even though I truly believe that I would want to work with someone, especially at this stage of my life, that is not only heavily credentialed, but has some experience, not just do a bunch of training. Again, like the letter said, if you're saying to me, real estate is the best thing that you should be doing right now, you should be investing, the time is now, and you have not done it yet, I feel like I would want to know why. At least tell me your story. So when I say the gray area, I have 2 children that got their real estate license when they were 18, right before they went off to college. One of them does own an investment property. The other one obviously does not, other than our properties that are trusted over to them. But if you're 18, you just getting started in the real estate industry, then I would not expect you to possibly have this whole fleet of real estate, so that's that gray area for me. But again, we talk about week after week, age matters, experience matters. Like a lot of those things to me does come into play. And not saying that just because you're 40, you can't be restarting life, but I would want to know as a consumer what that story is. That's all. That's really what my standpoint is that I would want to ask those questions. So a part of my side of the letter is, if you don't have the experience and you don't have the credentials, then our consumers, do they have a list of questions that they are asking people so that they feel a little more comfortable, like investing their money? Let's just say you have $10,000 saved and you do want to say, where do I put it? I want the best option to grow my money. Everyone says they're losing their 401k right now. That's at risk. How much do I put in a Roth? How much do I put in mutual funds? Like, I want to diversify my portfolio with this $10,000 I have. I'm going to continue putting money in there every month. Let's just say this is the example. I know I wouldn't be comfortable with just moving forward with someone that, just got their investment license, even if they got it 10 years ago. But if you have not decided that this is such a great thing to do in life that you put $25 in there, then I would want to have a conversation about that. Like, why haven't you done it? And I would want to know. And that doesn't even mean necessarily that I might not move forward with them. More than likely, me personally, I may not. But that's just my standpoint on a little bit of it, because I do feel like our community is really following like all of the flashy, just like the letter said, if you show your luxury home, if you show your fancy car, then people are following it. Hey, Julesy, I say Julesy.
Hey, Jules.
And the last thing I want to add is for the Stormy Wellington. I'm not sure if anybody knows who that is, but she has just received 20 years probation, and she became like this multi-level marketing guru selling TLC products, which was like the stomach wraps and things like that. Like, remember when they were really hot, where everybody was doing like the wraps and all of those things, and a bunch of other TLC products where you take a sip of like a little vitamin drink and you lose 50 pounds.
The tea and stuff.
The tea, everything. But what she was indicted for was not necessarily like faking that the tea and the products didn't work, is that she was telling people that once you sign on, that's that multi-level marketing, similar to the old school Avon. You sign on, I'm your upline, then you come under me. When you sell products, I make money, everybody over top of it makes money. And now she was telling people, in less than 6 months, you'll be a multi-millionaire. And that's really what the FCC got her on, because you can't say that. How would you know these? You can't guarantee that, and you can't say those things. So now, hey, Miss Fanny, thanks for joining us.
Smooth, my guy, appreciate you.
Yes, thanks for joining us as always. We definitely appreciate it. It's like you can't say that. Even as a real estate investor, I'm out there helping people all the time, and I even said recently that I'm going to start. And then I'm going to toss it over to you because I have so many thoughts about this. I'm out there all the time, and I really don't showcase via social media how much I help investors start their investment portfolio and kind of take them from start to finish. Because again, how I was so private, I feel like that's such a touchy subject. Like, I want to know, do they want me to share it? Sometimes I have a lot of investors that are taking cash, pulling money out of their Roth to buy properties and so forth. They typically don't want to even be on social media. So it's really hard for me to share that as much. But, I'm always helping investors get properties, get tenants, like, build up their investments. in all type of aspects. And I just always think about like that chain of command where like, what if I told them, if you get an investment property, I can help you get in it. And, within 2 months, I can help you make 7 figures. Like, how do I know that? I cannot guarantee that to somebody. So I would never do that. Now, can you possibly do that in this career? Obviously 1,000%, but I don't, everybody's personality is different. It's just so many variables. So I feel like that's where people are getting caught up a little bit. And then the flip side is the credentials. Like, do you have what you say you have in order to teach people what you say you can teach them? Or are you really just building your fame off of the social media popularity? I'm going to toss it over to you.
Yeah, no, I think that was a great take. Especially like you said, there's so many variables and stuff. But I would just say, as a consumer, my personal opinion or take on it would be, and like you said, I think it's just so many different takes that you could go about it. But I feel as though the consumer should be able to touch the person who they're doing business with. And by touch, I mean like they could be able to, have a business meet with them in person, or you have direct access to them, direct contact. I feel like that's one big variable. And also, I feel like if the person doesn't have
Ada said Ada's in the house. Thank you, Ada, for joining us.
Hey, Ada, thank you for tuning in. And I also feel like if the person doesn't have like not the experience, but let's say they don't have the homes, they don't have the investments, stuff like that. I feel like if they have the knowledge, like I feel like it's somebody that you should trust, and somebody who you can, be able to speak to and get information from, help from, and just contact them. Somebody who will be able to help you, so that you're not just going on the internet finding somebody, and somebody who also have the knowledge. Because like you said, it could be somebody who, like both my siblings, who are still in school, but they have their real estate licenses. So I wouldn't expect them, if you're in college, to have, multiple properties. And I also feel like it depends on the business, honestly. Like I feel like it depends on the business of what you're doing. Like if I was to take stocks or investments or something like that, I wouldn't tell people, like you said, it's a major problem if you're telling people, okay, you're going to make X amount of dollars in X amount of time. So I feel like the message that's being put out needs to be, be careful about the messages that people are putting out, and also like how you receive it. So I wouldn't say that, but I would also say if somebody has the knowledge but they don't have the results yet, it may be just not be their time, or they may have, like you said, you might just got to ask certain questions, because it might be certain variables that come into the play for the reason they don't have that. Like they might not have the capital, but they might have the knowledge. So if I can get in touch with this person and I can sit on FaceTime with them for 6 or 7 hours and pick their brain and talk to them different times throughout the month, but I know they only working with, a $500 investment account, I see that, this is somebody who's a beginner and they have the knowledge. So I will let that person know, like, hey, I have the knowledge to, get us or get you to here, here, and here, but it's nothing is guaranteed. Like it's obviously still a risk at whatever you're doing. But I feel like it's been plenty of people who I've taught personally investing or trading, and they might have surpassed me, whether it's in dollar amount or whatever the case may be. And I feel like that's a goal. If you are a mentor or a teacher out here, I feel like it's not bad if one of your students is to surpass you. But I also feel like you shouldn't just be working with, Tony from Food Lion. Like you shouldn't just be
because I was about to say, I don't want to lose my train of thought, but I was about to say, like, when you say like the knowledge, I do agree, but having the knowledge, like let's just say for, how you started teaching yourself with the Forex trading. I think it depends. Yeah, like you can build up all the knowledge and so forth, but if you have never placed a trade, can you really teach? I mean, that's what I mean. Like that's that gray area before, like that's that great point. Like not that you're supposed to be in a point where people that you are helping out are growing. That's the part of mentorship. Like you should be applauding people. That's how we even see, you guys as our kids. Like I'm grateful if I see you guys do more than I'm doing, so that's how the chain of command is supposed to happen. So I'm actually okay with that also. But do you feel as though if you read the Candlestick Bible cover to cover, all the things, you have the knowledge, but if you have never placed a trade, do you think that it would be possible to tell someone all that they can do and you have never done it before at all. That's what I mean about that black and white in the gray area. Like, you, not that you haven't surpassed the money that you want to make, because someone else may invest more than you, so therefore they ultimately in return get a higher return. Like, it really just a return on their investment. So it really just depends on, but just say for this example, because that's what they're saying for some of the gurus, like they never place the trade, like they never
Okay.
done
So
it again. What's your thought?
let's put it this way. My thoughts on that would be, now if they never place the trade, and for people who don't know, might not know or understand what we just talking about, trading and investing. Like, if they never been in the markets actually live, then that would be a huge red flag for me. So I would say definitely, like I'm talking about, yeah, you're placing trades and stuff like that. You might just not have, $100,000 over there. But let's say if it was vice versa, and the person was placing live trades, right? And they making money. Like, they started off with $1,000 and they flipped the $1,000 by trading to $20,000. So they trading live, but they don't know how they doing it. Like, they don't have the actual knowledge to do it. They just taking the calls from somebody else. So they making the money. And then that person goes and try to say, okay, I'm about to sell a course. Like, tap in with me. I can get you to flip $1,000 to $20,000. So I feel like, and I don't want to jump around, but just to answer your question, I feel like if you don't have the experience with actually getting in the field, then no. And I feel like that way a little bit, like I said, so many different industries about sports a little bit, but it kind of contradicting a little, because I personally feel like if you never thrown a football, how can you tell me how to throw the football? Especially if you never had 9 defenders coming at you at one time and figure all of that out. But it's coaches out here who teach, and I mean, they just learn it, but they never actually got in and did it themselves. But I feel like, let's say the person had the $20,000, but they don't have the knowledge to teach you how to do it, but they have members on their team who can teach you how to do it. So I feel like if they might not have, like, yes, they might have the experience or don't have the experience, but I feel like if they have the team in place, like, okay, I have the $20,000 account, but I don't know how to do this. But I have 2 gurus right here who do know how to do this, and they are a part of my organization. So I also feel like you can have, like, everybody might not know everything, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But and that's why I say it's a black or white and a gray area to everything in life. That's how I feel, because number one, I do think the industry matters. I do think the situation matters. But my main point of view is, let's just say, just like you said in your example, you have an upline, a broker, something else, somebody, in your organization that is the expert, and they're bringing you in to train you how to be the expert. So everybody got to have their first day. That's fine. Are consumers asking the questions? Like, that's where I get back to. Are you just signing up because you see somebody online being, with flashy things, saying these things, and then the people that really know them know that's not their car, but okay, we're not going to say nothing. I know they're in the industry because you want for them. So you're not going to blast it. You're not going to say anything, but they are portraying to be something. I think that's what's happening with a lot of these federal charges, is they're portraying to be and do things that they are not. They don't have the experience. Like, say for Dr. Bryant, allegedly, she doesn't even have a doctorate degree. So we don't know where that stands. Are you similar to a Dr. Dre, where you have just trademarked that name and you're calling yourself that, but now you are calling yourself in a clinical therapist aspect? So, and she is true. It is true when she said that even without a doctorate degree, she could still practice. You even know that. You have a bachelor's in psychology. You already done your first year of your master's program to get into that realm as well. So, you can just finish your master's, take your licensing, and you can practice without a doctorate. So everybody might not realize that it's not required, but she also doesn't have the licensing. But then she's calling herself doctor. So I feel like it's 2 different things. Also, we're not necessarily saying that a doctorate is required, but you're calling yourself that. And a lot of people were alleging that Umar was calling himself doctor prior to defending his dissertation as well. It's a lot of people online that have a lot of different receipts saying that he may have been in the dissertation phase and jumped the gun doing some panels and so forth, calling himself doctor, and being as though I have gone through, the process and getting a doctoral degree. I would never call myself that prior to. I always, even in my email signature, I would have specifically, where it states doctoral candidate or student or something like that. And you can't even call yourself a candidate until you get to the dissertation phase. So it's really, lingo to this. If you're really a part of it, then your chair will say something to you if they see your LinkedIn says doctoral candidate and you just still in the courses, then you're just a student. So some of those things are like I said, the gray area, because I personally not only would want someone who has done it before to make me a little bit more comfortable, but like you said, I'm also okay with someone who has someone over top of them that's bringing them in and teaching them. But I will ask the questions. And what I feel like is that people are not. I feel like people are not asking the questions. They just are listening to what other people say or watching what they post on social media, and you can just come from nowhere with all the flashiness and sign people up to do certain things. Like I've seen people who I know for a fact, and I mean we all have, but I've seen people who I know for a fact is probably not have two pennies to rub together in their bank account, and they will post on social media, I'm here to help you make money, grow money, invest money. And I'm just like, if you have an upline, then fine. But I need to have a conversation with you about, like, tell me how you're going to help me do that. Especially, or what have you started to do? Have you already put your first $25 in there? Like, I would want to know a little bit before I chance my 10,000. You know what I'm saying? With your company, I would want to know that, unless I'm playing, a safe route and I'm going through like the big companies like, Charles Schwab or something like that. Then obviously you can do those things yourself. But similar to someone, like you said, the courses and things like that, someone teaching me, because that's what happened with Greg Big Business. If people don't know, Greg Big Business was helping people get real estate properties. And what he was doing is, Monte laughing because him and I follow a lot of these things for years. So he was helping people get real estate investment properties. And what he was doing was he was selling investment properties to people that had a clouded title. He was selling multiple people. He was getting money from people, selling them the same piece of real estate over and over and over again, something similar to what like Flippin' NJ was doing. And him and his wife were recently arrested on federal charges. So people are saying that he really never owned real estate. He never had a real estate license. Like, how did he become the guru that millions of people follow? Like, I'm just curious about things like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I feel like stuff like that is kind of related to like greed and people knowing that they can, like, if you obviously are telling people you can do this, and people have proof of text messages where you're saying, "Oh, I'm going to give you this amount of money on Sunday, or we're going to flip this amount of money." Like, you are guaranteeing people certain things. I feel like that's what people is getting misconstrued and is going wrong at. And I also feel like if you invest in large sums of money, then you possibly should have like a lawyer or somebody even involved in that type of deal. But I also feel like from the consumer's aspect, the consumer should, like I was saying at first, be able to, like you said, ask the questions. That's what I mean by like be able to touch the person. Like I can. Should we be saying allegedly?
Yeah, I've been saying allegedly, but Greg Big Business is arrested right now, him and his wife. So that's not alleged,
Yeah,
that's a fact. But
yeah.
Dr.
I've seen
Cheyenne is
text
all
messages of
alleged.
him
Yeah, we've been saying
guaranteeing certain
allegedly.
stuff. Like if you sending out text messages and stuff like that, then that's kind of like, that's a no brainer. But like you said, like I was saying, if you're able to touch that person and ask them questions, then it might make sense, because like I was saying, if they have a team of people and they have the system to put it in place, maybe they're just not successful at it. But as long as you have the system or like I was saying, the knowledge, that doesn't mean you can't be successful at it. So I feel like you should go into any investment. And I also feel like for the consumers, they shouldn't go into it. They should go into the investment with the mindset and plan of what they're going to do. Like nobody should come into, and I'm not saying you shouldn't come into it. You should already come into be a part of McArthur Realty Group with your own plan of what you want to do. Okay, broker Ebony is the blueprint, but I know I can't own the homes that Dr. Ebony that owns. Like I don't want to be you. Like I'm not getting into it. Like, oh yeah, I'm about to go get a Lamborghini. I'm about to do this. I'm about to do this. No, I have my plan of this is what it wants me to. Oh, she said, okay, I'm Wendy Williams today.
Yeah, because I was going to say now, Stormy has already been indicted. So it's really, I mean, we've been saying allegedly, but she has been indicted. She has multiple interviews out right now on several platforms that says the feds she has to turn 20 years, for the next 20 years, she has to turn her finances over. Greg Big Business and his wife are currently arrested. I believe they may have bailed out by now, but their federal charges are real. That's been all over, the finance. If you follow Earn Your Leisure and all the bigger, podcasts out there. And, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is the one that we definitely are alleged. We don't know. She refuses to give information. We have no clue, but that's how it is. I mean, can you just say anything? That's my biggest thing is like the point of the feedback I want to give today is just to make sure that consumers are vetting people, just vet someone no matter what. If they just got started, it's fine. It's everybody's first day. Depending on the industry, maybe you're not comfortable with working with someone who has not done those things before. I know it depends on how they also are presenting themselves to you. Like if you're calling yourself Monte, the finance guru, but you have never done any investments before, any trades before,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I mean about like that gray area a little bit. Some people out here, if I'm calling myself real estate Eb and I ain't never done nothing in real estate, I don't have no properties, I don't have any of those things, then I just want consumers to like gather a thing of questions when you sit down for your buyer's consultation. Don't just go with the popular people, without asking questions. It's okay to go with people that's popular, but make sure whether they're popular, whether they're not, that you have a list of questions as a consumer that you are able to ask them for you to have a certain level of comfort. And like I said, at this stage of my life, I have it happen all the time. I just went back and forth with an attorney. So they can have credentials and still mess you all up. I just went back and forth with an attorney. I just got a full refund back. I was about to put a grievance claim on their law firm. I'm not going to say the name of the firm, but if you do your Googling, I left a lengthy review that's taken off on Google right now. Everybody is loving the fact that even as an industry professional that I spoke up for some of their bad practices, and I wanted all of the thousands of my dollars back. And that's not the first time. I've had people scam me with credentials, without credentials, like you said, an actual attorney, and you can vet it as much as possible. I remember when, I published my second book and the publishing company took me for a few $1,000s. And I remember my son messaging me in the family chat, like, Mom, just stop giving all your money to people at one time and stop paying people in full and stop doing this. And the truth is, I really didn't do any of those things. I made I made a deposit. Then I made the second payment. We stuck to a timeline. I vetted them. They actually was the publishing company for my first book. So it's not like I haven't worked with them before. Like I thought I was doing my due diligence and still got scammed, So it's kind of like, I'm not saying it even can be avoided, but at this stage of my life, I've been scammed enough and I've lost enough money with, just signing up with people that I just want to make sure I vet them. Do I know someone that has used them before? If they have not done any business in their first time, then maybe they can come have a meeting and their broker can be there or their upline can be there. I noticed that certain companies do that as well. They might even set you down for a life insurance policy and they'll bring someone with them. So I'll just know from my experience, that's a sure sign that one of them are new. They brought them with them to the appointment because one person don't know what they talk about really, and they're probably training and learning, and the other person is possibly more the expert. I just know from my experience, I always tell my agents, just be honest with people, like, because I'm one of those consumers that will ask you, how many transactions have you done? Have you done any this year? Have you done any in this price range? Have you worked this area before? And if the answer is that, no, sometimes it could be a benefit to you. So that's why I say it's not always a negative, because I always tell agents to lean into that a little bit, because they could possibly be, I see Ada's comment. It say they were under the radar, but they'll pop up again. I'm still what? Yes. Yeah. You still have to watch, and pay attention to everything. I mean, that's really the main thing, because, this is the point I was going to say, and then I'll toss it back over to you, is that sometimes when someone's new, I tell them, if you can't fix it, feature it. So I tell my agents to say, listen, I'm new, but my broker has over 20 years of experience. I'm in a mentorship program. I have a mentor that's going to guide me, for every part of this transaction. I don't know the answer to that, but I can get the answer to you in just a few minutes. Let me tap into with my mentor. I can give you a call back. We can possibly even get my mentor on the line if need be. But because I am new, you have my undivided attention. That's a way to feature it and kind of say, I don't have 100 clients I'm chasing. My broker doesn't have the time to kind of sit down one by one and answer all the questions with everyone all the time every day. I do. I have you and one other person that I'm working with right now. So I got plenty of time. And someone may love that and want to grow with you. They might be like, listen, I'm not buying a $500,000 house. I'm buying a house that's 100,000. I'm looking for someone that's going to take the time out and work with me and still teach me. So if you're willing to do it, let's work together. That's an example of it's okay. What I feel like is that the people that are being federally indicted are not doing that. They are portraying to be something that they're not. That's where I also feel like the gray area is.
Yeah, no, that's a great take. I feel like honesty is definitely one of the biggest things that people should be, if you're out here selling the course or asking for somebody, time and money in return, the first thing you should definitely be leading with is honesty. And I feel like your customers and, the people who are for your business will come to you. Like if Jules was to say, meet somebody and say, they wanted to buy a home and they was asking them like, yeah, I'm in college, I have my real estate license. But like you said, my broker, my mom has done, hundreds of transactions, and that person might turn around and say, but you haven't actually done none, so I don't know. And you have to be okay with that, knowing that, I was honest with that person and that person chose to move along. And, it'll be more people that'll come along and say, you know what, I do like somebody, like you said, who I can call at 4 p.m. in the afternoon and, ask them a couple of questions and stuff like that if your broker is busy. But I will say, with all the stuff that we said today, I definitely want to be very clear cut with my personal opinion that I do feel like, she said, hey, Jules mentioned, yeah, Julesy the realtor. But I was saying, with my personal opinion, I do feel like it is extremely disrespectful to add a credential or a title to your name. And I feel like it's disrespectful to the people who actually put in the time and dedication and went through the hardships and did it alone and did it scared and, stuff like that. I just feel like it's disrespectful if you going around saying, hey, I'm a doctor, I'm this. Like, I understand it, but my personal opinion, I feel like that's disrespectful to somebody who actually completed the doctorate program and took that test. Like, you can't say that, you're an NBA player if you actually never made it to the NBA. Like, it doesn't work like that. I feel like it's the same for doctors, realtors, anybody who takes a exam or a rigorous course. Like, kind of how, like, I don't know if in the medical field how they be saying, like, you're a nurse, like you're not a RN, like you just a C, or you're a RN, you're not a CNA or something like that. Like how I be seeing people make that jokes in the medical field. But yeah, I feel like if you don't actually have the credential, don't say you have the credential. Like I feel like just go get the like if that's something that you want to start saying to yourself as like speaking it to existence or motivation, then go get it. Everybody got the same 24 hours. We all got opportunities, even if it take you a little bit longer. But if you send it to yourself, at least let the other person know, like, I'm only interning at, McArthur Realty Group. I don't actually have my real estate license. Like even like apartment shopping and stuff in Houston, you'll see people all the time that's like, I'm just like a real estate consultant or something like that. Like I don't actually have my real estate license. And then you will run into people that are showing you different houses and stuff and say, I do this on the side, but I do have my real estate license. So I just feel like being honest about your credentials, like it's nothing to be ashamed if you don't have it or nothing like that. But I feel like in this day and age, people should definitely be being honest with the consumers and then allowing them to choose if they want to move forward or not.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Just let people make their own decision. Like you said, you're going to, if whatever's meant for you is going to come your way. So it's not like you lost that client. You're not. I'm going to lose it. But, and also what comes with, when you say knowledge, what comes with knowledge is training, because in most of those industries, like I said, in my industry, when my agents are new and we have a conversation on scripts and what to say and how to feature it, if they can't fix that thing about themselves, you can't make yourself have 20 years experience today, then feature it. So those are some of the trainings and conversations that we have. So hopefully, other industries will be doing, like you said, the same as well, and just knowing how to present themselves. But as someone who does take my credentials very seriously, I definitely agree. Because no matter what, like I literally just maybe a few months ago, I haven't even posted it yet, but I'm gonna post it soon. I have so much content I've been trying to get up and just learning algorithms and all of those things. But a few months ago, I got my certification and to work with sellers for listing homes. I've been listing homes for years, but so it's not like the credential all of a sudden allowed me to do it. It's something that I've already been doing. But now in this realm of my life and my career, I've been wanting to be the expert at like everything I do, so even if I've been doing it for 20 years, I want the certification to say that I'm the expert in this field. I want the credentials to back everything. So if you start seeing the letters behind my name grow, more and more and more, it's because, that is the stage that I am in. I want to know everything that there is to know, about working with buyers. I want to know all the strategies on working with investors. I want to be the expert in negotiations. Like I know how to negotiate. I have a bachelor's in finance. I have a bunch of things, but I also want to take that certification and sit down and take that week course to certify me, in that realm as well. So I've been starting to add all of those things. So I highly believe in, don't say you have the credentials and you don't. I would rather you even say things like a life coach or things like that, that leans into that you're just helping people in that manner and you're using your life experience, because that's something you can do as well. Use your life experience, because I believe in that. It's a lot of experience that I've had throughout life that I can guide somebody just off of my own personal experience without the credentials.
Yeah.
Ada said, I haven't mastered anything, but my honesty about my not being licensed in some areas hasn't stopped people from hiring me. Well, Ada, you already know you're my go-to person for a contractor in a minute.
Hey, Jordan.
Ada know all the contractors. Ada knows, don't go through Ada though. Call me and then I'll call Ada, because I ain't giving out Ada's phone number or nothing. My phone number is public. But Ada knows all the best contractors for everything. If you need something done real quick, Ada know everybody. So Ada don't have to be licensed. That's about relationships. So that's a whole nother point. That's a whole nother thing as well. Hey, Jordan.
Yeah, I feel like people got to do more homework on these gurus. Like if you can't contact them personally and speak with them, it's AI going around, bots and people responding and stuff. You can't contact them personally. Then once you even contact them personally, you still should, get 3 or 4 people that have vouched for them, or you seen, like even when I first was doing the trading, like I was trying to get, like live testimonies of people, hey, just tell the truth about what have your experience been working with me and stuff like that.
That's a good thing as well. Oh, Ada said, congratulations on now has afforded you the title of educator. Thank you. My first class for Dr. Boyce Watkins, the Black Business School, is on June 2nd. So I am now an educator for the Black Business School. So yes, I've only mentioned that one time, but I'm going to mention it some more. I'll be trying to put so much information out there, but thank you. I've always taught. So that's, again, I hold classes, I hold seminars all the time, but now it's not just under my own company. I'm expanding globally, so I'm very excited. But yes, I was just going to add to what you just said also that, I definitely just agree with all the things. And I know we have a few people in the chat, and I just had one question that I wanted to put out there and see if we can get a little feedback before we start wrapping it up, because we're close to an hour. It's so hard to do these topics because in an hour, you can't even say everything that you need to say real quick.
I know.
Hopefully we got our point across without needing to explain a little more, because we're trying to say things quickly, but also trying to get out, our point of view and touch on the topics. But my main question, I actually had it written down. So I was curious, how do consumers separate social media followers from actual facts and certified credentials? And we have given our opinion on it, but I do want people to tell us in the chat, what are some of the things that they do to separate the two? Do they separate the two? Do they honestly just follow whoever looks to be popular with 20,000 followers? And just because they have, multi-level marketing that's posting it, with ads 100 times a day, they just sign up. Do you do your due diligence, or how do you separate the two? I'm curious. Leave us some information in the chat, because I am definitely curious.
That was just the same. She just said
that's the same one. Okay. Yeah, so I'm curious if you guys have a moment, leave us a comment and let us know, how do you as consumers separate the two? Do you have a series of questions that you ask sometimes before hiring someone? Do you vet them? That's why I love working by referral, because my referrals can speak for themselves. I can send someone a link of just Google reviews on real live people. Oh, that's what I wanted to touch on that you said, Monte, is that when it comes to the testimonial. So I'm really, really big on getting reviews. And I always tell my clients that also, like, hey, if I did a good job, give me a review. And when I hire new agents, when I tell them to start their Google review pages, I always say, don't tell somebody to go on and lie and say you sold them a house. That's not what we're looking to do. We want you to start out your reviews by saying, Monte is a very trustworthy, very educated person. He always answers his phone and he's very knowledgeable about his field. That is still a 5-star review without you saying, Monte also holds 4 doctorate degrees and is the guru in, this aspect. And now this really your first day. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, the reviews matter, but I also always ask to, be honest until you start getting some transactions. So that's kind of what I teach my agents in training, to make sure that they are leaning on their strong points, but definitely not making up something about their career that doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, I agree. And with the question that you was asking the audience, I feel like it's definitely, because I be seeing even influencing people be telling people like, hey, this is my only page. Like, stop getting fooled by these other pages, just sending money. Like, who just has money to just be sending out to random people that you haven't actually spoke to, or are sure if it's actually them or not?
Yeah, no. And that's what people do most of the time. Like, oh, this is what I was going to add too. I saw on a podcast that the lady Stormy Wellington with the TLC indictment, that what she was doing was, whenever she was even going to Atlanta or some of the big, venues, Invest Fest, things like that, to speak or to have a vending table, she would actually have like her G-Wagon and her Mercedes and stuff like flown wherever that was, so that she can, how you have a vending table right beside it, she would have her G-Wagon and her Mercedes like pulled into the venue to really show, if you sign up with TLC, you can have a G-Wagon, those kind of things. And that's what they said the feds got her on. Like, you just can't do that. And I just kind of, it's borderline cornballish to me, but it depends on the industry. Again, everything is a gray area. Don't take anything I say black or white, because I always have a gray thought about it. I'm just trying to get out, like I said, all my thoughts at once, because it's always an exception to everything. Just know I'm not going to pull one of my cars into the venue because I'm trying to educate our community. I'm not going to do that. But that is what a lot of these people and these influencers are using to be able to, get people to sign on.
Yeah, no, I was about to say Ada had a comment that just popped up.
Yeah, Ada said, I usually go through word of mouth from people that I trust. Presentation on social media can be easily misleading, but when I choose you and becoming my realtor was based off of our first conversation. I looked at your page, but it was really the vibe I felt from our conversation. Oh, thank you, Ada.
Being able to touch somebody, being able to have that conversation, that one-on-one transaction with each other.
Yeah, and that's why I love working by referral. Honestly, I'm like the opposite, where I want to know who sent you. Like, maybe that's the Baltimore in me a little bit. Like, I'll be honest, maybe it's the Baltimore in me a little bit. That if you come to me and you just asking me to work with you and you're asking me all these things, I'm going to answer it. But I'm also going to be like, who sent you over here? Who do you know that I know? Like, I don't just meet random people at the office, at home, so any of those things. So I'm not one of those people at all. Like, I want to know, how did you get my information? Yes, it's all over the internet, but like, who sent you? Who do you know that know me? All of those things is going to be my list of questions for that person also. So when you reach out to me, tell me who you know first that know me, and then we can kind of get past that step. But that's why I like working by referral. I'm not a big going out to get all of these strange people. It's easier to me to work with people who already either know, like, or trust me.
Yeah, Ada said before I settled with my roofer, I would have him send me before and after pics, but I would go up on the roof to see the work. After the 5th roof, I was secure with his work.
Yeah, I love Ada's roofer too. And I saw your story that he's back. And Ada and I have been talking about her missing roofer for like a few weeks, and I'm glad that he's back. Katrina said, Jordan said, I love this live. Katrina said, thanks, Jordan. I'm the same way. Yeah, I'm like that a little bit, and all my Baltimore people, I always say it's the Baltimore mentality. My husband always says no such thing as a Baltimore mentality, but Baltimore does keep you in a certain realm when you were born and raised there. And I'm always kind of like, who sent you over here a little bit, even though I know that I'm all over the internet and I would love to help you and love to do business. But, I'm more comfortable when I'm working by referral. And then when you say to me, hey, Katrina Butler sent me. Then I'm like, oh, okay. And then it's a little more ease. So that's how I am a little bit. Like, tell me who sent you, tell me how you got my information, all of those things. And then we can move forward a little easier. But I do prefer to work with people who already know, like, and trust me.
Yeah, just my final say, just to wrap before we wrap up, I would just say, um, just for the consumers out there, like, I mean, scamming is a thing that takes place out here, but just to avoid it, like we were saying, just make sure that you vet the person, or do your research on them, be able to speak with them one on one, get a feel for them, and ask other people about them. Ask around Google. Like, don't just send anybody money without speaking to them personally, and also doing your research.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely do your research. That's the whole point of this episode, is just to encourage everyone to do your research, ask the questions, don't be afraid, use your discernment. I mean, we all have it. If something don't feel right, it's probably not right. If somebody wants you to do something or sign up for something right now, you can please always walk away. My dad taught me that around 15, 16 years old. He said, anytime somebody wants you to do something right now and they say, well, the promotion is only right now. If you sign up right now I'm offering you this right now as I'm standing here today. Well, I didn't have that promotion 10 minutes ago, and I'm gonna keep on living if I don't have it 10 minutes from now. Like, that's how my dad always taught me. And that's how I walk away from it that easy. Like, I lived just before you approached me. I was living without that sale or that promotion or whatever you want me to sign up for. So if I'm going to miss out on 20% off, I didn't have 20% off before you walked over here. So it's fine. If I can't read the fine print, if you can't email me, and I ask people all the time, send me an email, give me time to review it. If they say, no, we're not able to send an email. Well, no, thank you. I appreciate the time today, and I can easily walk away from stuff like that. And I started teaching my kids that when they were going off to college too. Like, I would always say to someone, if somebody make you do something right now, the answer is no. It's very easy. No with a period. No is a full sentence. Like, don't ever get into things like that you don't have the ability to review or do your research or sleep on. Even in certain crazy real estate markets, we'll tell people, like, I'm not trying to rush you, but we don't have a lot of sleep on it time, but you do have some sleep on it time. It's not nothing is right now. If so, then be happy and content with walking away. And that's my final take on it. Do you have any quick hits or anything that you wanted to add on your end of the market or mental health side or anything for us today? We're getting close to our hour.
It's still May, so just don't forget to check on you guys, strong friends. I had a super busy week, so I really the same stocks I gave out last week: Google, Amazon, Tesla, Nvidia. I would just keep an eye out for those, but I don't have any stock tips for this week. I got y'all next week. But yeah,
Yeah, I
don't
put it
forget to
into
check
the
y'all
chat
strong
also
friends.
for last week. I saw it posted, and I screenshot it and put it into the chat so everybody can have their watch list. And same for me in the real estate market. I really took this week. I've been so slammed, and next week is going to be busy for me also. But this week I kind of took some time to just reset a little bit. Because I do pile on my weeks a little bit. I take on not more than I can handle, because I can handle. I would never take on more because I want to be 100% at everything I do. So I'm very, very good at my organized chaos. That's what I call it. But sometimes I do just need that mental health moment just to take a seat, not even necessarily to rest, but I am one of those people that like to have some time to gather my thoughts and kind of a reset that way. So that's kind of what this week has been for me. I've been out and about doing a bunch of things, but I also been doing a reset this week. Ada says, speaking of mental, check in with our guy. Okay, definitely. Yeah, I definitely will. But yeah, I just been kind of resetting this week a little bit, and the real estate market has definitely been a little challenging for a lot of my clients. Oh, hey, my cousin's here. Hey, Janie, thanks for
Thank you
joining.
for tuning in.
Yeah, I've been resetting this week a little bit. I've been kind of taking it slow and getting caught up on all my emails, because I check my emails every single day, 100 times a day. But some of them, I needed to go back and do some things. So I've been doing those things, getting caught up on my content. I have a bunch of like voiceovers that I need to do. So I was getting caught up on that. Oh, okay, Ada. Okay. I got that message. Yeah, so I've been trying to just do a reset. It is a tough time for some people in the real estate market, especially first time buyers, have a bunch of education out there. So that's really been my goal, is to just, so when you see me say educating our community, that's really my goal in this stage of life, is just try to educate people, because it's so much fear. I mean, it's so much fear, and it's okay to sometimes be fearful, but I always make sure that I reinforce that in order to combat some of that fear. Typically, with me personally, education is what kind of helps take some of that fear away. So when you are educated, you're confident moving forward, you have the tools that are needed to get into this finance game, whether it's real estate, stocks, any kind of investments, whatever it may be. Even just simply buying your first home, it doesn't have to be an investment. Maybe you want to get your first property first and then use it as leverage, whatever that may be. Then the fear, to me, can kind of disappear a little easier when you are knowledgeable and you're confident. So stay tuned for all of our things. Oh, let me add some of our June calendar. We're not in June yet, but we have a few days. So we have our first time home buyer seminar on June 6th at McArthur Realty Group between 11 and 2 p.m. The link is in my bio for all of these things. So if you're interested in coming out for some education there, all of my seminars are free. Feel free to come on out. And we're also having our summer business networking mixer. So if you're in the chat and you're a business owner, please come out to my free quarterly business networking mixer. It's a huge thing every single time we have it. I think we have close to 70 something businesses registered right now. And we're offering, once again, free headshots. So shout out to Cash Captures is the name of her business. She did some amazing free headshots to any and everybody that wanted them for our last mixer. And she's going to be there again. So put on a good blazer. Put on
Show
your
up
good
and get them headshots. Even if you don't need it now, you might need it later. Show up and get them headshots.
Yes, my Josie said the business mixers are so fun. Everybody loves the business mixer. So even if you're not, sometimes people are afraid to come, and Ada will attest to this as well, that even if you have a thought of a business and you have some ideas and you want to get around some like-minded people, come on out to our free business mixer. Put on your blazer. Like I said, get a free headshot. Put it on your business card, your branding, whatever. It's not very often that you have a professional photographer that's going to give you an edited headshot for free. So that's something that, Ada said, I still use mine. I love them so much. Yes, my headshot was amazing from the last event. So shout out to Cash Captures for coming out again and sponsoring her time. All of these are free sponsors that are looking to grow their business. Yep. Yeah, right there. See, Ada, you love yours. So there's Cash Captions is not even in the chat, and that's somebody that I just shouted out her business. So go pull her up on Instagram. Ada just said she loves all her stuff, and we've had a ton of different photographers throughout the few years through my nonprofit organization that we've been offering free headshots, but all of them have been amazing. I use them for my branding photos all the time. So when y'all see me posted up in my branded pictures, it's probably from my sponsored photographers. Shout out to you guys. So yes, come on out. That's on June 9th from 5 to 8 p.m. And we can't wait to see you guys there. And stay tuned for all of the speaking engagements that I have. All the tickets are going out there. It may not be my event, but it's someone else's event. Katrina has her dope event that's coming up that I'm on the panel. I'm on the panel for an event that's through Chase Bank in a few weeks. And I'm going to be talking all things credit and building wealth there. So just follow my page and you'll see some of those things. And I'll also be on Be True with Rue's podcast on next week as well, talking about financial literacy and some other things. So I'll be posting everything, and just stay tuned. So we're very excited about this episode. Hopefully somebody and everybody took something from it, to know to, just vet people before you hand out money, vet people before you sign things, sign agreements. Just make sure that you are comfortable and as knowledgeable as possible. And nowadays we got Google and ChatGPT and all the things. Go do a little bit of research before you sign up for things.
Ada said, and I have someone who was interested in possibly being a caterer.
Okay. We love a good sponsor, at McArthur Realty Group.
Yes.
So, we appreciate it. Because I think we have a dessert person, but I don't know if we have locked in a caterer. I will check with my team, my agents who kind of assist with that, and I will find out. But if not, I think the last event we had 2, so it depends on, what their meals are. We can orchestrate that, but thank you. We definitely appreciate it. So yeah, I think that's it for me and all the things that we have this week. So thank you everyone for tuning in again for another episode of Finance Friday, the CEO Lounge. Please, before you hop off, like, share, and subscribe to our channel.
Like, share, and subscribe. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you guys for tuning in another Friday with us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yes, and May is still Mental Health Month, so don't forget to check on your strong friends.
Check on your strong friends.
All the strong friends this week and see how they doing. You know, sometimes the strong friends don't get the recognition that they deserve. If you know somebody who's strong, don't ask for nothing, don't really bother nobody, they just out there pushing through life, give them a call today and check on them. Give them a call before the end of this week and check on them. And make sure you let them know you ain't want anything. You just wanted to make sure they were okay. So thank you so much for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. We will see you guys on next week.
See you guys. Have a good weekend.